It's New Beer Thursday! Woo! We're with Laurie Delk from 100 Beers, 30 Days.
Hello, everyone.
And in the fine honor of tradition and...
That sounds
I was going to
weird.
say honor, but yeah. In our tradition, we are filming the final episode of the 100 Beer, 30 Days cycle.
Yes.
Which has been... What? What have you been drinking?
This has been 100 barrel aged and oak influenced beers, so probably one of my
Beers that have
biggest,
wood.
burliest ones so far. Definitely.
Nice.
It's been a challenge, a real challenge.
Right on. And so for your 100th beer, we're doing KBS?
Yes, the very famous, loved, respected, everyone across craft beer world community loves this beer. So
I don't like it.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. So,
Nice.
KBS, for those of you who have been in a closet for the last few years, this is Kentucky Breakfast Stout, 11.2%, bourbon barrel aged for 1 year with coffee added. It's a delicious beer.
It's freaking awesome.
It's one of the cult beers from Founders. Another one apparently is Canadian Breakfast Stout. I was just at Savor
Finally
in
getting
Washington,
bottled.
D.C., and I was talking to the owner, and he's like, I go, what? He did a night at a really cool beer place in Washington, D.C., where they had a bunch of different Founders beers. And I said, what, no CBS? He goes, I'd have to go on eBay to get it. I don't even have any.
I know,
Right.
oh my God.
So that's what I said, too.
Really?
I go, I'll sell them to you cheaper than that.
Nice.
But, so anyways, but
Because here's my eBay user ID.
this is their this is their
And go.
this is their workhorse, and this is their superstar beer, and it's great.
Well, I don't think I've had a Founders beer I didn't like. Their entire IPA series, the Devil Dancer, Double Trouble, and
There's 3 of them for sure.
and then the single IPA,
Right.
which I can't remember the name of.
the Cerise is great. The
Yeah, I
Red
mean,
Rock,
they're
yeah.
Was
yeah,
that
they
Dirty
brew a
Bastard or
ton of
something? Yeah.
really good beers, and so
Their regular
they're-
Did
Imperial
they do the
Stout's
all
great.
day IPA?
Yeah, Founders All Day IPA
Yeah.
was
That was good.
actually and we did drink that all day at CBC.
Curmudgeon. And then they
I
did
had that
something. They did a version of Curmudgeon at this place. It was really
Yeah.
Yeah, the better
Really
half.
enjoyable.
The better
Now, aren't
Curmudgeon's
they
better half.
coming out here?
Yeah.
Are we finally going to get distribution on
We
them?
may see them at the Stone Anniversary Party.
Ooh.
We'll see.
They're one of my favorites.
That's not
so
the
I
question
can't
she
wait.
asked you though.
Anyways,
Don't dodge the question.
I'm just going to leave that open to the air. We shall see.
The question
But
is, who don't you
in
see
the
at the Stone
meantime-
anniversary parties?
I'm going to pour this beer for John and I.
I've heard that this beer is not good for aging.
I will pour for the lady
You've
because
heard
she should have been
incorrectly.
poured for first.
Thank
Sir.
you, Steve.
Sorry.
Wait a
about
minute.
that.
What's wrong with that?
I apologize.
It's not good with this one.
So I have to,
Thanks,
this beer
Bill.
is fabulous for aging.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. I heard because of the chocolate in it, like it can kind of affect the way it.
Well, why don't you try these because they're 2 years old and let me know if they're good or not.
There we go.
Yeah.
Answer my question.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Steve. Teleclink.
Teleclink.
Great coffee
A lot
nose.
of coffee.
The coffee held up really nicely in
God.
this. Because that's what I've
is fabulous.
like. Coffee to me seems a little bit like hops. They fall out a little faster than everything else in the
They
beer.
can. Sometimes they're the last thing left depending on the
Right.
beer.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of fusel notes and sweetness, coffee can definitely subside very quickly.
This is also brewed with chocolate, so you're going to get that in there as well. I would highly recommend craft beer people out there, if you have not tasted this, this should be on your bucket list, so to speak,
Yeah.
of craft beers.
Absolutely. If you're a fan of stouts, then
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is, for me, one of the best imperial stouts out there made. It's not, you can't sit around and watch football and drink it all day, but it is a great, I love to have this before bed, you know, when you're chilling out, maybe having a cigar.
Yeah, it's a
for
great
you.
it's a great digestive. It's fabulous. And what I love about this beer is you get that huge coffee on the nose, and then the coffee just goes right over your palate all the way through from the front, mid, and back. You get that, not cloying, but you get this really creaminess from the chocolate over it, and you get the vanilla notes, and then you get some fusel alcohol, but really, man, that coffee just follows all the way through, and it doesn't usually do that in a lot of beers.
For this being
So-
aged in bourbon barrels, I don't get
lot
like
of-
an overwhelming amount of bourbon on it either.
Well-
it's like a.
I'm getting more of that vanilla that you were
Which
talking about.
is what
Maybe
you
that's
get.
what
That's
it
what
is.
you get from the bourbon.
But even the
because-
vanilla, I'm not getting a whole lot of that. I think.
Well, you got a lot of coffee.
the vanilla,
and
yeah, the
chocolate.
coffee and the chocolate kind of, they don't overpower the vanilla, but they are the primary flavor components that you're going to get. The vanilla is just kind of like the nice little. It's that nice little bit of sweetness that you get, like on the back of the if you get a coffee at Starbucks or whatever. It's the little bit of whipped cream at the end that kind of like finishes through.
Yes. We've made it.
We've made it, yeah.
Looks like
no, but we are being sponsored by the OC Brew HAHA.
Yes.
And
which is something very near and dear to my heart.
Yes. And I think this episode, it's going to come out, on the 29th?
28th.
28th. So, you have 2 days to buy your tickets for the OC Brew HAHA. Go online, use the MBT 20 code, and get 20% off your VIP.
The event this year is on September 10th or 9th.
Can't remember, but there's a banner ad that's showing right now that says the date.
Anyways, this is something very near and dear to my heart. This is the Orange County Fallen Firefighters Fund. Ed Heathis, a very good friend of mine, started this. I've been the keynote speaker for the last 2 years, hopefully this year too. We'll see. Plug.
They also don't let anybody in until he's done talking, so it's like, please.
No, they let you in, you get a beer, I talk, and then we all go and party. And it's only 5 to 7 minutes, so it's easy. I understand the concept of people wanting to go. But it's a great event. We have a number of cicerones speaking, and it's a great charity event. There's, I don't know how many beers they'll have this year, but 40 or 50, a lot of food items, live music, and there's a bottle share too, because we're big proponents of beer aficionados. So definitely, if you get tickets for this, bring some beers and come out and enjoy the bottle share, which is put on by
OC Beer Society?
Yes, OC Beer Society, thank you. And it's a great event.
They do have really specific rules about the bottle share, so if you're going to do that, make sure you read up on that.
It'll be on the website.
Yeah. Because it's the way they have to handle that based on the fact that it's a charity and whatnot is pretty important.
I believe you just submit the beers, fill out a form online, and just submit them, and they'll take them and store them in a cool place, and then when it's time for the bottle share, they get them out and you can reclaim them.
Right.
So
anyway, enough about that. I think you and I should go smoke a cigar.
Okay.
Let's go do that.
All right. I'm up for it. Yeah. I'm drinking a perfect cigar beer. This is not going to be the beer.
We're not going to. Yeah, we're not going to smoke a cigar with this beer. But what beer did we smoke? Oh, the Chimay. That's right.
Chimay.
The how old was that?
I think it was 12 years old.
12-year-old Chimay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's up there.
So we're gonna go get a 12-year-old Chimay and open it up and smoke a cigar. Peace out.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Master Pairings with me, your host, Bill Sysak. Steven Johnson's with me. Today, we're doing not beer and food, but beer and cigars. A lot of people really loved our earlier shows that we did. Yep. And so I thought I'd bring back some great beer and cigar pairings. So a lot of people think with beer and cigars that you have to have a big, giant beer.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly. I disproved that by having a great cigar with a Levitation, a 4.4% session beer. We're not going that light. We're actually going with a 9% beer, but it's a very special, awesome beer. I guess you can probably decipher through the
I wonder what we'll be drinking.
That it's a Chimay. The unique thing about this Chimay
is that it has no label?
Yes. And it's 12 years old.
Ah, okay.
So it should be quite fun to enjoy. Today with this beer, we're going to be enjoying one of Pete Johnson's great cigars from his Tatuaje line. This is his Habana 6, and it's his Almirante or Churchill. So it's quite a large cigar. So what we're going to do when I do these pairings, I really like to teach people about the way a cigar tastes. So the way a cigar tastes is in thirds. You kind of assess them in thirds. You got the first third, the middle third, and the last third. And so we'll probably kind of not show the whole episode of us smoking, although I will say there have been some requests lately to make the New Brew Thursday episode about 6 minutes long and have Master Pairings be about 20 minutes long, Stephen.
No one's made that request at all.
That's
except
not
the voice
true.
that's inside Bill's head.
That's not true, but I understand. So anyways, so what we'll do is kind of jump around and we'll go from the explaining it.
Okay.
So when you get a cigar, first of all, you want to make sure that it's got, you know, it's not overly dry. You don't want to touch it too much. When you're at a shop and you're shopping, you want to kind of touch on the band so you're not like fingering the cigars.
And when I do this, what am I getting?
Well, you're not getting a true aroma of the cigar because you're not going to the foot and pulling off the foot, which is where it's wide open.
I'm just smelling the wrapper.
Yeah. And the wrapper, you know, the cigar's made up of 3 different components. You've got the wrapper, then the binder, then the filler.
Right.
And so, you know, you've got a lot of different things. When you cut a cigar, you have a little cap around here for a great handmade cigar. You notice that cap? Sometimes they're double or triple cap. So whenever you're cutting it, if you're going to slice it, you want to make sure that it's sliced above that because that's part of what's holding the wrapper together in a handmade cigar. So, Stephen, I'll let you open this. Open it carefully. I want to make sure it didn't get overly agitated. And then I will go ahead and, oh, here's my cutter, perfect. Cut these cigars. Now, this is an Ecuadorian wrapper with a Nicaraguan filler and binder. I said be careful.
I enjoyed that.
Yes, but what happens when you do that, everybody?
Well, I didn't, I barely touched it.
I know, that's why I said be careful. You express the gas inadvertently, which dilutes the carbonation. Now, for a 12-year-old beer, that has a pretty nice carbonation profile on it. It's a 9% Chimay Blue, which is considered really a Belgian quadruple.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. It's got that beautiful winter fruit. You know, as Belgians get older, they pick up those great heady notes of fruit.
Lots of plum and fig on that nose.
Heavy plum. Oh, residual sugar, sweetness.
Oh, that's delicious. Chimay only gets better with age.
So once you know you've got your cigar, you've cut it appropriately, you want to toast the foot. Just get it ready. And once you've warmed it throughout and kind of blackened it, then you can go ahead to just be a couple puffs and turns and you're all set to go. So right away with the cigar, I'm getting a big spice punch, which happens a lot of times when you first get your cigar going. You'll get that a lot when you first light it, even though it gets more intense as the cigar draws down to the last third. A lot of times right at the very beginning, you'll get this intensity until the cigar kind of feels out its rhythm and gets into that third. So
it's got a good draw on it.
It's a beautiful cigar. Pete Johnson does a great job with these cigars. This is quite tasty. Let's try it with the beer and see how it is. Or have you already?
I have, yes. I've been cheating. Yeah, it works really well with the big winter fruit notes from this beer. Really blend in well with that like almost dark chocolate flavor that comes off the cigar.
But then I get a lot of cedar and like heavy wood, almost like a mahogany, comes in there, and it just comes in and plays really well. And I really enjoy this balance. Yeah. And yet it lets the fruit really shine in the Chimay, which is really nice.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, a cigar like this intense and this big, I'd almost expect it to kind of overpower this, but they play well together.
Beautiful first third, really enjoying it. Stay tuned. We're going to go see in just a minute when we get to that middle section. All right, guys, we're back. We're at the middle third of these cigars. They've picked up in intensity. Still a medium-bodied cigar, but it's still a big cigar. And I'm getting, what are you getting on it?
I'm still getting a lot of the roastiness, a lot of the dark chocolate notes, but it's kind of going into more of a richer tobacco flavor to it now. So it's obviously the accumulation of what you're being drawn through the whole thing affects the flavor.
Right.
And so you're getting a lot more of the toastiness aspect of it.
Well, yeah, it's big and intense. I'm getting black pepper is what I'm actually getting. Really nice notes of black pepper. And it's a little sweet. Notice how it's sweet coming around to the front of your palate? Yeah. You're getting a little bit of sweetness, which is kind of nice. Let's see how it's going with this beer.
It's really working with this beer. I mean, it's...
Now it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
This middle third is perfect. This is just
it brings the spice notes of the Chimay out and really lets them shine.
And it's just huge date. I mean, it's really fun together right now. It's really, really enjoyable.
I'm just picturing Saul from Indiana Jones. Bad dates. But these are good dates, so what are you going to do?
Nice, Steven. Delicious cigar. Really enjoying this part. I've always loved this cigar.
Yeah, there's something that's so relaxing about having a really good beer with a nice cigar and just kind of relaxing, and this is the great way to like wrap up a really bad day.
Or a really good day.
Or a really good day,
yeah,
exactly.
After a great dinner. A lot of people think, you know, you got to drink with cigars, you got to have like a port or a scotch or a bourbon. And I do that, to be honest. Or a cognac.
Right, all those things do work with cigars.
But beers work beautifully with them also. And cigar aficionados will smoke a cigar in the morning at any time of the day.
Right.
And so a lot of times you don't necessarily want a port at the end of the day, but you might want to have a nice Lancero with a lighter beer when you're on the golf course or out and about. So it's just a really good time to have a cigar anytime.
There are very inexpensive, hand-rolled, good, well-made cigars. But unless you're smoking cigars on a really regular basis, you want to spend a little bit of money and get something you're going to enjoy, not something that's like, oh, I got this for $2. Like,
Yeah, the goal is as you get more and more into cigars, like I have a humidor with, I don't know, I probably only have about 50 cigars right now, but I have at least 10 to 12 different cigars in there at any given time. And it's for different times of the day, different things I want to enjoy. So it just depends on whether it's you want a mild cigar, a medium cigar, a strong cigar. Really, you can break them down like that. So this middle third is delicious. We're going to continue to enjoy this, and we'll be back in a minute to finish up with this particular pairing. All right, guys, we're back. We're going to finish up this cigar. We're at that in third, big, intense. It's fuller.
I'm getting a lot of caramel off this now.
Good.
Yeah.
Caramel. Yeah, there's definitely caramel there. Definitely shines through. Let's see how it goes with the beer. Ooh, really brings out the caramel in the beer too.
It adds.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's like
like a Maillard effect on the beer.
Yeah, it brings out this. This really nice caramelization from the grains and stuff. Now you're really getting that. You're still getting some fruits. They're a little more intense in flavor, but it's got that really nice caramel notes coming through, and it's playing the beer and the cigar. So it's a really nice transition. I think it's going great.
This is a 12-year-old Chimay. Is this going to work as well with a...
Sure, younger Chimay. Sure it will.
All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring out, it's in my cellar, so...
Right, you got to go big.
I don't drink, well, I don't usually, if I buy Chimay, Grand Crus, or the Blue, I like to age them because they're better that way. So they're much better to have. Not that they're hot or anything when they're young, like some beers are, but it just, the flavors get more well-rounded and marry together better.
Absolutely.
It's a delicious cigar. We're going to sit here and enjoy this. I'm going to smoke down to the nub. But cheers, Steven.
Cheers.
Thanks for Master Pairings.
100 beers, 30 days. First of all, I think, and we talked a little bit about this the last time, but just briefly, why did you do that? What prompted it? Where were you going with that?
So basically, in a nutshell, I drink 100 beers of a style in a 30-day period, and it takes me...
Such a slush. She's like, hey, I was drinking 100 beers a day. I thought this was a good way to space things out.
I want to give it a month. But I take a style. So in the past, I've done 100 stouts and porters. I did 100 Belgian and Belgian-style beers. I did 100... American craft breweries, so I would take.
Yeah, that was impressive because a lot of those were San Diego, obviously, because that's where you're from.
Sure.
But you were able to get through 100 different breweries.
We're gonna put her on the wagon next, and she's gonna do 100 session beers next episode.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is that. Well, I'll tell you about my next one in a second. But that was a big challenge to try to get outside of the state of California and get some other ones. So I had wonderful beer fans and beer friends across the country who would send me beer so that I was able to to be more nationwide with it. My next one coming up is going to be in the fall. It'll be 100 German and German style beers. I'm a huge fan of German beers, and I just think that there's just not enough out there about it.
Right, and we've talked about that a lot on the show too here, where it's like people get into craft beer and they're just like, barrel aged and 18% and give me the whale.
And those are great beers.
Right, but it's like, you know what? Go drink a Helles and enjoy it and appreciate that.
Learn what a Dunkel is, a Bach, a Doppelbock.
It's like enjoy those styles because those have been around for thousands of years.
And
Well, not quite, Stephen, but they've been along for a long time.
Well-crafted.
Thousands.
As well-crafted as
Thousands.
This is as well-crafted as something like this is. German, Helles, lagers, all those kind of different kind of like basic beers that we think of as basic beers, they're actually really hard to make.
Yeah.
You know, to make good and consistently. So.
Well, they're super pure, I think. You can't hide anything. That's one of the things that, as many beers now as I've tried over my journeys, is I'm coming back to German style beers. I'm coming back to those beautifully made lagers that there's nothing to hide behind. You can't hide behind, massive alcohol, lots of hops, tons of malts. It's if you can't make it well, everybody will know.
Everybody knows it. You actually support a couple of charities with this. Talk a little about the charities that you.
So when I first came up with this a couple of years ago, it's great to talk about craft beer, and it's a wonderful cause. But I wanted it to be something that was gonna mean something beyond just the education of it, and that would be charity. So from the very beginning, it has always been Feeding America. It used to be Second Harvest Food Bank in local communities, and then now the big umbrella is Feeding America. So my
Second Harvest pissed you off.
they were awful. And I focus really in on feeding children because it's so important. The thought of children going hungry just breaks my heart. So that's always been sort of the umbrella charity. This particular challenge, I did a guest bartending spot at Local Habit, which is a place in Hillcrest, and it is a farm-to-table restaurant. Everything. It's fantastic. The owners are so much fun. All their beers are local. All of their food is locally sourced. And I did a guest bartending spot there for a foster kids foundation.
Nice.
And we raised a ton of money, and it was fantastic. And I got to talk to a lot of beer fans and beer people who actually didn't know a lot but liked the restaurant, and all went to foster kids for their education, books, getting jobs, anything and everything to deal with helping foster kids really be able to be sustained in society. So
cool. Thank you again for letting us be a part of this.
Much.
And
it's always such a pleasure to be with you guys.
I guess we'll plan on filming sometime late October.
Sounds great. Sounds like a plan.
Until then, stay safe and drink beer. Here's everyone.
Cheers.